Good morning, everybody. So today we are going to do is um, earthquake and and learn about earthquakes. What is earthquake? Earthquake is a sudden shaking of the ground caused by the passage of seismic waves through the earth rock, and the seismic waves are produced when some of the energy stored in the earth crust is suddenly released, usually when the mass of these rock materials like plates strain against one another and suddenly fractures and slips. The earthquake occurs, most often along the geological fault lines. So where does it occur? It happens around the geological fault lines. The major fault lines of the world that are located at the fringes of the huge tectonic plates that makes up Earth's crust. That is all the major tectonic plates. If you go to various continental shelves and fringe edges, they are all comprised of these tectonic plates. It was little understood about the earthquake until the emergence of seismology at the beginning. So, at the beginning, we did not had much knowledge about the, earthquakes. So, the seismology, which involves the scientific study of all aspects of Earth's earthquakes, has yielded the answers to such long-standing questions that why and how earthquake occurs. So about 50,000 earthquakes large enough to be noticed without the aid of an instrument. So there has been about 50,000 earthquakes large enough to be noticed without the even the instruments, the various earthquake measuring instruments we have. Uh, so mm, on an annual basis, it faces about 50,000 earthquakes. So of these, approximately about 100 are of sufficient size to produce substantial damages if their centers are near areas of inhabitation, or in the areas of settlements. So every great earthquake occurs on an average of about per once per year. So over the century, they have been responsible for millions of deaths and incalculable amount of damages of life and property. Okay, so the nature of earthquake is that it is first of all we need to understand the causes. Okay, so we need to see that. Okay, let's address what is an earthquake. An earthquake is what happens when two blocks of earth or slip, past one another, and the surface where they slip is called the fault or the fault plane. Okay, this location below the earth's surface where the earthquake start is called hypocentral, and the location of the this point directly above the surface, above on the surface, is called the epicenter. Sometimes an earthquake has foreshocks, and these are smaller earthquakes that happens in some places as a large earthquake that follows. So the scientists can tell that an earthquake is a foreshock until the large earthquake happens. So the largest and the main earthquake is called as the main shock, and always have an aftershock effect, which follows after the main shock passes off. Now these are smaller earthquakes that occurs forward in some places, and in as the main shock depends on the size of the main shock, and aftershock can continue for weeks, months, or even years after the mishap. Okay, so causes of earthquake, like major earthquakes occurs mainly on the belts or coinciding within the margin of the tectonic plates. Now these are has been long been apparent from early catalogs of felt earthquakes, and is even more readily prescribed in the modern seismic maps or seismicity maps, which shows the instrumentally determined epicenters. And the most important earthquake belt is, that is the circum-pacific belt or ring of fire. So which this circum-pacific belt, which affects many populated coastal regions around the Pacific Ocean. For example, New Zealand, New Guinea, Japan, the Aleutian Islands, Alaska, and western coast of North and South America is estimated to about 80% of the energy that presently released in the earthquake comes from those who are having epicenters in these belts. So seismic activities have activity is by no means uniform through the belt. Now there are uh, a number of branches that varies in point, because at many places the circum Pacific belt or ring of fire is located with the volcanic activity. So it is also seen that there it is sometimes followed by volcanic activity, and it has been popularly dubbed that this uh, uh, Pacific circum-Pacific belt is also known as Ring of Fire. Okay. Now, what causes earthquake? So the Earth, like where we have all these Pacific fire, Pacific belt, which we call Ring of Fire. So earthquake having four major layers. The inner core is core. The outer is outer core, mantle, and crust. The crust on the top of the mantle makes the most thin skin of the surface of our planet. Now, it is made up of many pieces, like puzzles covering the surface of the Earth. Not only that, but these puzzle pieces keep slowly moving, around the sliding paths on one and another, and bumping into each other. Now, we call these pieces of puzzle as tectonic plates, and the edge of these plates are called as tectonic or plate boundaries. Now, the plate boundaries are made up of many faults, and most of the earthquakes around the world occurs on these faults. So, since the edge of the plates are although rough, they get stuck, and while the rest of the plates keep moving. So when the plate has become far enough the edge to withstand the pressure, it suddenly leaves and generates energy at that point, which we term as uh, earthquakes. Now these are the plate boundaries. If you see it very carefully, you can see all the major continents are on major plate boundaries. See, can you see them? So what it says, it says that they are, all these major plate boundaries are comprising of major continents, like um North American or Caribbean plate. North American plate will comprise of land masses with North America, Greenland, and some parts of Russia. Then in a South American plate comprises of the continent South America. Then we have African plate comprising of Africa. Then we have Arabian plate. We have Indian plate. We have Eurasian plate. We have Australian plate and Pacific plate, plate, Scotia plate. Then Atlantic plate. They are all different plate boundaries moving all about. Either they are colliding with each other, or they are subducting under each other, or sliding around each other, or different plate movements are comprising of that. So the second belt of known for earthquakes are okay. Let me say one thing more. which is more important here is that this ring of fire is being the first, or circum-Pacific belt being the first important, belt of where we come across earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. The second belt, known as the Alpide belt, that passes through Mediterranean region. Okay, no, this is the Mediterranean region. This is Alpide belt. This is that passes through Mediterranean region. Okay, and eastwards towards the Asia. So it is like this. It starts from here in mid of the Atlantic Ocean, and it passes through the Mediterranean Sea, going across the towards the Asia, as it joins the circum-Pacific in the East Indies. So if you see here, it joins the circum-Pacific in these belt. It keeps on continuing like this. This line goes up, and it comes till this area. Okay, it and it starts from this portion. Okay, so the energy which release in the earthquake from this belt is about 15% of that of total world's total earthquakes that happens. Now there are striking connected belts of seismic activities, mainly along the oceanic ridges, like you have this Marina Ridge in here. Okay, these are happening in between the ocean. So this is an oceanic ridges, includes those in the Arctic Ocean and Atlantic Ocean. And the Western Indian Ocean, that is the Western Indian Ocean here in this part, uh, the Western Indian, sorry, to come again, the Western Indian Ocean, along with the Rift Valley of East Africa, that is this East Africa, this is the Rift Valley, this area. Okay, this is global seismic distribution is based best understood in terms of the plate tectonic settings that are being concluded. Now natural forces that causes the earthquakes can be sudden release of energy because of the tectonic plates moving, and facing a friction. When the sudden release of the friction can cause the release of the energy, shaking of the uh, earth. Now tectonic earthquakes are explained by so-called elastic rebound theory, that is formulated by an American geologist, that is Harry Fielding Reid, after San Andreas fault ruptured in 1906 and generated a great San Francisco earthquake. So according to this theory, the tectonic earthquake occurs when the strand in the rock masses have accumulated to a point where the resulting stress exceeds the strength of the rock and suddenly fractures and causing a release of the energy. Okay, just a minute. Okay. So, why does earthquake shakes when there's an earthquake? So, while the edge of the faults are stuck together and the rest of the blocks are moving, the energy that would normally cause the block to slide past one another being stored up, and when the forces of the moving block finally overcomes the friction of the jagged edge, will cause the release of the energy, and the energy radiating radiates outwards. So there's an energy that radiates outward from the fault in all direction in the form of seismic wave, more like a concentric circle or a ripple of water behaves in a pond. Okay, so the seismic wave shakes the earth as they move through it, and when the wave reaches the earth's surface, they shake the ground and anything on it, like you know uh, you know uh, like houses and poles and trees and everything over it. Okay, so earthquakes are recorded by instrument called seismographs, and according to and recording them makes it called a seismographer. So we are recording it in a graphical formation, so that's why it is called seismograph. Seismograph has a base that is set firmly on the ground, and a heavy weighted weight hanging from the top freely and letting it move. So when an earthquake causes the ground to shake, the basis of the seismograph shakes too, but the hanging weight does not insisted the spiring or spinning, that is hanging of the orb all over the movement. So the difference in the position between the shaking apart from the seismograph and the motionless part is what records the waves. So how does scientists measure the size of the earthquakes? Okay, so we need to see that how do scientists have indulged in measuring the seismic waves. Just hold on. Yeah. So the intensity and the magnitude of earthquake, or how scientists measures earthquakes. The size of the earthquake depends on the size of the fault and the amount of slip and the fault on the fault. So, but the that's not something scientists can simply measure with normal measuring instruments, since the faults are many kilometers deep beneath the earth's surface. So how many do they how do they measure the earth? That is a big question. Earthquakes, so they use the seismograph recording made by the seismographs at the surface, and the shorter the wiggle line that does not wiggle or much mean as a smaller earthquake. As long as the wiggle line that wiggles a lot means a large earthquake is there. So the length of the wiggle depends on the size of the fault, and the size of the wiggle depends on the amount of slip. The size of the earthquake is called as the magnitude, and there is one magnitude for each earthquake. Scientist also talks about that this intensity of shaking of from the earthquake and the various depending on the duration and distance from the center. So how do we measure it intensity? Like we measure it in the form of intensity scale. The violence of seismic shaking varies considerably over a single affected areas. Okay, so because the entire range of observed effect is not capable of simple quantitative definition, the strength of the shaking is commonly estimated by reference to intensity. that is intensity scale, that describes the effect in qualitative terms. So intensity scale dates from about 19th to early 20th century, 19th century to early 20th century. It was used as an intensity scale, was used to measure earthquake. Now before seismograph capable of accurate measuring the ground motion were developed. Since that time, the diversion in these scales have been associated with measurable acceleration of the local ground shaking. So the intensity depends, however, in a complicated way, not only on ground acceleration, but also on the period and the other feature of seismic waves. So the distance of the measuring the point of source and the local geological structure. Furthermore, earthquakes intensity or strength is directed from earthquake magnitude, so which is a measure of the amplitude or the size of seismic wave as a specific seismograph reading can show you. Okay, so a number of different intensity scale have been set up during the past century, and applied for both current and recent destructive earthquakes. So for many years, most widely used was about 10-point scale diversion in 1878 by Michael Stephen de Rossi. So he was a French alpenhorse, Forel, and he was a Frenchman. Again, the C, the scale now generally employed in North America is a Mercalli scale, and Mercalli scale is a modified form by Henry O. Wood and Frank Niemann in 1931, in which the intensity is considered to be more suitably graded. That is a point 12 point abridged form of modified Mercalli scale is used to see that what is the intensity. So the intensity that is about uh, 8 is roughly correlated with the peak acceleration of about one quarter of the gravity, right, and the ground velocity of about 20 centimeter per second. So the alternative scale have been developed both by Japan and Europe for a local condition, that is Europe uses it as MSK scale of 12 grade is similar to that of average version of Mercedes. Okay, now uh, like modified Mercalli scales of earthquake intensity. No, first grade, let me give you the chronology. The first grade, just a minute, let me see, the slide is not changing. Yeah. Okay. So the first grade shows that the wave is not felt margin to a long period of effect of a large earthquake. So then the second is felt by certain people at rest and upper floor or otherwise favorable places of intense tremors. Then third is felt indoors. Hanging object swings and vibrates are smaller to those caused by the passing of lights, and duration can be estimated for a very brief period of time. Then we have grade 4. Vibration is similar to that of 3, and the windows and doors and the glasses, they start rattling and clinging with each other, they start vibrating very violently. And at 5 scale, the outdoors and it can be felt very strongly. This jolts can be felt very strongly. Direction may be estimated, see that is sleepers awaken. It can awaken people from sleep. Liquids are disturbed, the surface of the liquid will be feeling the disturbance, and small objects can be displayed or moved or fall off from its place. Then at 6 there are frightening movement of the surface. You should always it will be so violent that you will be forced to run out into the open. Person walking in an open will feel unsteady standing on the ground. All the wall fixtures and things on the shelves will start falling off. Trees will start rattling and bustling around. So that is these are the intensity. So now seismograph come in and so this keeps on going till class 10 12. That damage nearly the until the time we come to the scale of 12, the damage is very massive. It can cause grounds to crack up. It will result in falling of the buildings completely flat. None of the buildings can withstand it. Can result into a volcanic eruption. Then it can also trigger tsunami and other geological hazards can be triggered through this. Floods can happen, even due to strong earthquake. Rivers can change its course and causing flood in inundate areas which it not supposed to flow from. Seismographs come in handy for locating the earthquake. So it and being able to see the P waves and the S waves very important. So you need to learn about the primary wave and the secondary wave, which shakens the ground in different ways as that travels through. Okay. Wave travels through more in a perpendicular form. S wave travels through in an elongated form. Okay. Uh, Now we have talked about Mercalli scale. Okay. Modified Mercalli scale is that it is lesser degree of MMI. That is modified Mercalli scale generally describe the manner in which earthquake is felt by the people. Okay. So this in Mercalli scale they are typically observed at the location near the epicenter of the earthquakes. Okay, now these are the pictures of describing the Mercalli scale. At one again, like I have told you, it is not felt, and as we come to 4, it is very strong. Damage is negligible in the building, but has a good sign of destruction that can happen. At 7, or it is very severe, or 8, it is very severely damaged. Chimneys and blocks and houses can fall off and can cause another secondary waves of damages. Then at 9, it is very violent earthquake. 10 being very extreme earthquake. Um, Again, at 11 we are having very extreme earthquake. The structures does not remain standing anymore. The bridges collapse completely. Buildings and fissures comes up on into the ground. And at 12, by the time we reach this status of 12, the damage is total and waves are seen on the ground. So you can see the ground moving in a wave like pattern, and lines of straight and level are disturbed. The objects are thrown up into the air because the waves are so large. Magnitude, that is a sketch of traditional seismographs. uh, the time, location and the magnitude of the earth can be determined from the data recorded by the seismograph. Seismometer meters records the vibration from the earth and that travels through the earth. Each seismometer records the shaking of the ground directly beneath it. The sensitive instruments which greatly modify these ground motions can be detected among the earthquakes from source anywhere in the world. Now, modern system precisely amplify and record ground motions as a function of time. The magnitude is physical size of earthquakes, and earthquake has a single magnitude, and the shaking and that it cause has many values uh, that vary from place to place based on the distance, the type of surface, material, and other factors. See the intensity, action, and blow from more than detail shaking into the ground. Magnitude is expressed in the whole number and the decimal fractions. For example, a magnitude of 5.3 is a moderate earthquake and 6.3 is a strong earthquake. Because of the logarithm, the basis of the scale, each whole number increases in magnitude represents the tenfold increase in the measured amplitude as measured on the seismogram. So when the intensity develops, all the magnitude scale based on measurement of the recorded wave from amplitudes were thought to be equivalent. No, it is not. Okay. So when but for very large earthquakes, some magnitude underestimates the true earthquake size and measures some undermine underestimate the size. Thus, we now use the measure that describes the physical effect of an earthquake rather than the measurement based on the amplitude of the wave recording. Uh, for more than later, that is Richter scale is what is most people have heard about now, but in the practice it is not commonly used anymore, except for small earthquake recorded in local uh, grounds. So for such local grounds, that is Richter scale and short period surface wave magnitude are only magnitude that can be measured. For another earthquakes, the movement or moment magnitude scale is more accurate measures for the earthquake size. All the similar seismograph has existed in since 1890s. It was only in 1935 that Charles F. Richter, a seismologist at the Californian Institute of Technology, introduced the concept of earthquake magnitude. Now, his original definition held only for the Californian earthquake that had occurred within 600 kilometers apart from type of seismograph. That his basic idea was quite simple. By knowing the uh, distance from a seismograph to an earthquake and observing the maximum signal single amplitude recorded on the seismograph, and empirical quantitative ranking of the earthquake inherent the size of the or the strength could be made. So most Californian earthquakes occur within the 16 kilometers of the crust to a first amplification. uh, this correlation of variations in the earthquakes focal depth were therefore necessary. So the Richter scale magnitude of an earthquake is determined from the logarithm of the amplitude of the wave recorded by the seismograph. So adjustments are included for variations in the distance between various seismograph and epicenters of the earthquakes. Again, movement, we are going to talk about various movements. So in this movement, like magnitude is based upon physical properties of the earth. Earthquake derived from the analysis of all the waves recorded from the shaking. The first seismic movement, uh, well, the first seismic movement will have areas of fault that slips, and at a distance the fault moves, and thus the stronger the rock material or the larger the area or the movement in an earthquake will also contribute to produce a larger magnitude. Okay. So since the magnitude type table is given as here, they say that the earthquake magnitude and the energy release and comparison with other natural and man-made events are like another way or to measure the size of the earthquake is to compute how much energy is released. The amount of energy that radiates by an earthquake is measured of the potential or damage to man and structure. So an earthquake release energy at many frequencies, and in order to compute an accurate value you have to include all frequency of shaking for the entire event. Okay. Now while each and whole number increases in magnitude, representing tenfold increase in the measure amplitude, it represents 32 times more energy released. The energy can be converted into yet another magnitude type called energy magnitude. However, since energy magnitude and the moment magnitude measure two different properties of earthquake, their values are not same. So the energy release can also be roughly estimated by the converting the movement magnitude to energy using the equation of this logarithm will be run, where m is the magnitude. Okay. So earthquake magnitude and energy release and comparison with other natural man-made events. Okay. So here these are natural man-made events. Let's see. uh, you have taking from 56 to about 56 billion 100 billion uh, times the energy which has been erupted. Okay. So the intensity we are going to talk is that map of California earthquake that happened in 2014 again. The earthquake epicenter was known to at a star and had been geocoded intensity, also known as the small colored square. The associated modified Mercalli's intensity value of each color is shown in the key at the bottom of the uh, table, or we have seen it at bottom. It was marked as red square. So red square means it is already a severe type of earthquake. So where the magnitude of the earthquake is one value, it describes the size, and there are many intensity values of each earthquake that are described across the geographical area around the earthquake centers, right? But traditionally the intensity is a subjective measure derived from human observation and report of the felt shaking and damages. The data used to be gathered from a potential mm, interviews or questionnaires, but the event of the inherent is uh, not collected using the based form. So however the instrument data that station located can be used and calculated and estimate the instrument on the behalf of the local people. The intensity scale that we use is that State is calling is modified Mercalli's intensity scale, MMIS. It is all about most of the global people are do follow these uh, measure of taking records of earthquakes. Now I was talking about the color. Red color shows the extreme and heavy earthquake activities. This is a Californian IA. I had shown you where the magnitude was about 6.7. Here the magnitude is about 6.8, that it has been showing in Washington region. So in California it is felt as 6.7. At Washington it is felt about 6.8 merciless scale, but the intensity the losses were less. So can Scientists predict earthquake, no, not exactly accurately. It is unlikely that they will ever be able to predict earthquakes beforehand like we predict for any weather phenomena. um, so far with the present growth of the technology, we still have few seconds or minute of estimation before the earthquake strikes. Okay. The, and but we can follow it through the behavior of the animals. The ground living animals can come out and behave in a radical manner that can be identified that there is going to be an upcoming disaster. The possible signal of an earthquake about is that it can be recorded in digital format, in digital area, right? So now electrical distribution in the earth atmosphere will be also disrupted. It can be transmitted through satellite, and the doppler effect can be used in identifying the earthquakes. Animals behavior, I've told you, the change in the velocity of P and S wave transmitting from doppler radar can be recorded. The radon detector is used to assess the earthquake in at various centers. Now, in India, National Center for Seismology said that the magnitude of the earthquake, that happened in 2021, that is on Friday, on February. It happened in the in Kazakhstan, in Central Asia, but the magnitude was still felt in India. So the earthquake where it was felt in India, the magnitude was not of very high, but still the jones were felt. Okay. So with this, we are coming to a conclusion of earthquakes. Okay. And any questions you have related to that, we can address it. You can send it to me, and these are the references that you can go and read. And at the end, I would like all of you to go to your LMS and take the quiz.